Let me acknowledge first my colleague, the Deputy Minister, Mr. Nvasetti, senior people from Parliament. I see members of the Portfolio Committee are here, senior people from government, our partners in the public and the private sector, partners also in education, civil society, ladies and gentlemen, and more important, our top learners, the pride of the nation. So allow me to extend warm greetings to all our people and our children. Before I could present the 2012 National Senior Certificate Grade 12 exams, I wish to deeply thank all South Africans for embracing the President's call of making education a societal issue. We are indeed, as a department, encouraged by notable improvements in the education of our children. Sustained improvements on Matric results are a consequence of systematic interventions for strengthening and raising performance in all levels of the system. Indeed, 2012 was a year and a half. Ask me about it. It was a real hectic year. It has really shown, but also that remarkable progress in education will depend largely on deliberate and purposeful action. So while we celebrate many achievements we are making together in education, the challenges of 2012 should spur us on seriously to consolidate our advances. The building blocks are firmly in place. So before we talk results, it is important for us to reflect on measures taken to improve the performance that we'll announce here. We are continuing to implement the revised curriculum and assessment statement per phase in the general and the FET bands. This year, we phased in grade 1s to 3 and grade 10s. Oh, last year. Maybe I have the phobia for the year 2012, last year, so that I don't even mention the year 2012. So last year. So this year in 2013, we'll be phasing in grade 4 to 6 and grade 11. And in 2014, we'll be doing the final phase of the curriculum and assessment policy statements when we phase in grade 7 and 9 and grade 12. Teachers were empowered this year with clear, concise, and unambiguous curriculum and assessment statements, and it helped in improving learners' ability to count, read, and write. Many educators and parents have reported to us that they are very happy with the changes that we have made on the curriculum. Our national strategy for improving literacy and numeracy has assisted us in improving educational quality. It has strengthened the teachers' capacity to teach, in particular literacy and numeracy. For example, principals, district officials, and provincial officials have jacked up provision of teacher and learner support. We have coordinated teacher development with provincial departments in targeted areas with more than 184,000 teachers, and the goal being and remains to improve professionalism, teaching skills, and teacher subject content knowledge. A collaborative teacher development program with teacher unions was initiated last year, and a memorandum of understanding was signed in this regard. We've provided workbooks nationally to all learners in grade 1 to 9. We've provided with the Shuttleworth Foundation over 4 million supplementary textbooks for maths and science for grades 10 to 12. We have focused on quality. We have emphasized equity, access, and efficiency. The central thrust of our intervention strategies has been to mobilize the entire system to do more to improve learner performance. As we reported earlier in the year, the 2012 annual national assessment was a massive undertaking with over 7 million learners writing. As we did report, learner performance in the foundation phase, which is grade 1s to 3, was quite pleasing, and also in the intermediate phase. In grade 3, for instance, the national average for literacy improved from 35% to 52%, which is an improvement of 17%. In numeracy again, we recorded an improvement from 28% of 2011 to 41%, which again was an improvement of 13%. In grade 6 again, we registered good improvements in literacy, where we improved from 28% to 43% in the home language. Unfortunately, in maths in grade 6, the performance went down from 30% to 20%. To 27%, sorry. For the first time in 2012, we were able to assess grade 9s, and the results of this assessment will enable us to have a benchmark through which we can be able to report progress or lack thereof in this phase. We are very confident as a sector that there is now stability in the sector. In 2012, teaching and learning environments was relatively stable. The exception was Northern Cape, where schooling was severely disrupted by service delivery protests in John Taolo Gaitsewe district. And we are proud because the provincial department was very decisive in setting up a study camp for learners, and learners wrote their exams in the camps. And learners who couldn't write have been given the second chance to write in the next supplementary examinations. Since the Eastern Cape and Limpopo are under administration, both provinces have received priority support from the National Department, and will continue to work with these provinces to ensure educational outcomes continue to improve. And I think for the record, so that we close 2012 peacefully, let me repeat the Limpopo textbook saga. Let me start off by admitting that it was indeed very unfortunate that it happened, and it should not have happened. Between ourselves at national and provincial education departments, we have apologized profusely. What happened was that the delayed textbooks affected grades 1 to 3. I've been hearing the media saying they're not sure if grade 12s were going to be affected. The delayed textbooks were for grade 1s to 3 and grade 10, not standard 10. Grade 10. So it doesn't arise in today's discussion. And I think contrary to the concerns raised, serious as they were, that there was no teaching in Limpopo for these grades, the new CAPS curriculum did not change everything in the syllabi. In some subjects, there were no changes at all. Where there were changes, they did not even exceed 5% of the old curriculum, meaning that there is no issue of not having that there was no teaching in Limpopo for 7 months. It's not true, because it means the books that were there in schools in the previous year were used. So that we disabuse ourselves of the fact that there was no teaching for 7 months in Limpopo, it is not true. And I'm raising this not to undermine the problem that books were supposed to have been in schools on time, but also to correct the perception that for 7 months there was no teaching in Limpopo. So I think we have to clear that so that we can close 2012 peacefully with a clear conscience. There was teaching in Limpopo, and the grade 10s, not grade 12s, not standard 10, the grade 10s were taught. So, for the record, teaching and learning in grade 12 was not affected. And informed by the 2011 results, provincial departments had developed plans for underperforming schools and had identified weaknesses in their domain. So I've left the Limpopo one and back to 2012, so I thought I should clear, and we closed last year peacefully. In 2012, we targeted areas that we knew were weaknesses. We even used the National Diagnostic Report, which we also got from Umalusi, where they always help to identify areas where they think our learners are not performing quite well, and use that information to guide teachers even more to prepare learners. We developed books, a series which we call the Mind the Gap series, and we developed in 4 key subjects: economics, life sciences, accounting, and geography. And we gave these books to Limpopo, Eastern Cape, and the Northern Cape, and we will make this series available to all provinces nationally. We emphasize through the national exams that the ultimate measure of achievement of the 12 years of schooling is through the national exams, the national senior certificate exams. These exams assess learners' knowledge and skills gained over the years of schooling, and they rank amongst the most important performance indicator of the entire schooling system, as the Deputy Minister has said. And we are proud to say results over the past 4 years have shown progress in education. 2012 is the 5th year for us to administer these exams. And it is encouraging to know that public exams in South Africa have attained a high level of stability in many respects, and their practice have been entrenched in all provinces. There were also concerns that were raised, amongst others, about the promotion requirements, including, which I also had being raised again this morning, the publication of results in children's names. It's an old concern which has been raised with us. It's not new. It was raised last year, it was raised the year before. And as a result, I've established a commission which was established last year to look into the past requirements for NSC, but also to look at the entire administration of the NSC examinations. But I also have to say, Deputy Minister, that it is a great surprise to hear fellow apartheid learners, my age group and older, saying in their times passing was actually more difficult. I think because of time, I'm unable to go into the details of what the requirements are, but I can assure South Africans that it is much more difficult to pass Matric now than it was during my time in honored doctors. So it was much more easier than now. And anybody who wants to know what the requirements are will post them on our website so that again, you can reassure South Africans that it is untrue. It's not true that under the current system, it is much more easier to pass your Matric. It's much more difficult. But I've set up a ministerial committee to look into this matter again and give international comparisons, because I think it will help to put the minds of our parents and learners to rest and to restore confidence in the South African qualifications. This team will deal with concerns also raised about publishing learners' results with their names instead of using their student numbers. The class of 2012, these learners exiting grade 12 this year have affectionately been called the born frees because in the main, most of them were born in 1994. And the number of candidates that wrote this year, I think it has been mentioned before, that we had more than 520 learners sitting for exams full-time, and we had more than 120 part-time learners. And I won't bore you the details of the question papers, because I think it had been raised before, so I'll just skip that section. But to ensure that our papers are pitched at international standards, we've also embarked on an international evaluation of question papers. Selected question papers were evaluated by reputable assessment bodies, namely the Cambridge International Examinations, the Scottish Qualifications Authority, and the Board of Studies for New South Wales. In 2011, the benchmarking process also added an important dimension because it also included higher education in South Africa. So over the last 5 years, there's been significant improvement in the examination system and processes. On the 21st of December in 2012, Umalusi convened a standardization meeting at which performance in each subject was analyzed statistically and qualitatively to ensure the current performance was in keeping with performance in the previous years. Umalusi was able to use raw scores for the majority of our subjects. Out of 58 subjects that were standardized, 41 raw marks were accepted, 12 were adjusted down, and only 5 were taken up. And again, on the 28th of December, Umalusi announced that our exams were fair, valid, and credible, and all the processes met their standards. And we're very proud and very happy about it. On the results, I'm sure Angie and them are asking to say, get to the point. She's been phoning me the whole date, asking for a scoop. Here's the scoop now, Angela. It brings us to the 2012 results. In the past 3 years, the pass rate has been as follows. In 2009, we're at 60.6%. In 2010, we're at 67.8%. There's the scoop, Angie, it's coming. In 2011, we were at 72.2%, and guess, in 2012. It really gives me great pleasure to announce that the national pass rate for the class of 2012 is 73.9%. Thank you. An increase of 3.7%. And just between 2009 and 2012, the results have increased at 13.3%, just between those years. So in 2012, more than 377,000 learners passed their matric, an increase of more than 29,000 learners. So hearty congratulations to the class of 2012, our born frees. The number of passes in maths, last year we stood at 46.3%. This year we're at 54%.
Yeah.
In physical science, last year we stood at 53.4%. This year we stand at 61.3%. In accounting, we stood at 61.6%. This year we're at 65.6%. In geography, we're at 70%. This year we're at 75.8%. In economics, we rose from 64% to 72.8%. And in history, we rose from 75.9% to 86%. In terms of learners who achieved a bachelor's degree or a pass, last year we stood at 24.3%. This year we're at 26.6%. Meaning that more than 136,000 kids, Deputy Minister for Higher Education, more than 136,000 kids qualified to go to university. We have another 135,000 learners who also qualify to come to higher education institutions. So it's more than 300,000, so I hope you have space for those 300,000 kids. Just taking off from the 10 key subjects, excluding all small subjects and languages, between our different learners, as a sector, we have more than 55,650 distinctions, only in the main subjects. So we're quite proud that we've improved quality, and we believe that the improvement of quality in education is perhaps the most important developmental task which continues to confront our nation. High-quality education, equally distributed, is one of the most effective and least conflictive ways of transforming society. On provincial results, I have to thank my colleagues for the very hard work they did. I'm glad also that there are also provincial managers that are here. Key interventions were focused in the areas of maths, physical science, accounting, life sciences, geography, and in particular to underperforming schools and their principals. I'll announce the provincial results in the ascending order. Eastern Cape, last year they stood at 58.1%. They improved to 61.6%.
Yeah.
which is an improvement of 3.5%. Limpopo, last year they stood at 63.9%. They improved to 66.9%, which is an increment of 3%. Mpumalanga moved from 64.8% to 70% this year. An improvement of 5.2%. KwaZulu-Natal moved from 68.1% in 2011 to 73.1% this year, which is an increase of 5%. Northern Cape, no, people who know Tswana, it means you don't usurp power, and that's where power was usurped. So in the province where power was usurped last year, they have moved from 68.8% to 74.6%, which is an improvement of 5.9% and the largest improvement in all the other provinces. They registered the highest improvement. Northwest achieved 79.5%, up from 77.8%. The Free State achieved 81.1%, up from 75.7%, which is also the second largest improvement that we've seen for 2012. Western Cape achieved 82.8%, down from 82.9%, and a small decline of 0.1%. And Gauteng has registered the highest pass rate at 83.9%, up from 81.8% in 2011, an improvement of 2.8%. I'd like to congratulate MEC Chrissy and her team. On districts, 52 of our districts reached 72%. We have 81 districts, as compared to 45 last year. And almost 71 of them performed above 60%. And 7 of our districts were between 60% and 50%, and only 3 districts were below 50%, as compared to last year where we had 15 districts performing under 50%. So 12 have gone out and only 3 are remaining, and we will be working with them to make sure that indeed we can support them. We want to congratulate the districts of Ubanjeni, KZN, which last year was an underperforming district. Waterberg in Limpopo has come out of also the ICU. Buhlabela in Mpumalanga, John Taulo Haiti in the Northern Cape, and Queenstown in the Cape Town, all of them have achieved above 60 passes in 2012. And again, we will redouble our efforts in those districts, showing poorer performance as compared to other districts. I can say in the Free State, all districts performed above 80%. Yeah. For 2013, we are ready. I think we are more ready than we have been before. We're ready to improve our learner performance in the fundamental objective of our action plan, which has been the glue that brought us, that the interventions were undertaken. In 2013, we will continue to focus on strategic priorities, the phasing in of the curriculum and assessment policy statement. We'll again administer the annual national assessments and use the results that we have also as a way of mobilizing the sector and refocusing them on the key areas for intervention. We'll continue to make sure that we distribute workbooks and ensure that, again, LTSM is accessible, or we have more books in the children's hands than we had before. and through the Presidential Infrastructure Coordinating Committee, will strengthen our work in a pursuance of improving our school infrastructure. We'll continue to focus on the 3 T's, on our teachers, on text, and on time on task. These priorities necessitate improved and targeted curriculum management by principals and school management, and districts must intensify monitoring management and support intervention programs at school. We continue to plan to improve the learning outcomes. As I said, we've prioritized school infrastructure and the eradication of mud schools. On the 10th of December 2012, the President's Infrastructure Coordinating Committee launched the National School Build Program, and government has committed more funding for school infrastructure. We'll continue our work to improve access to early childhood development. For 2013, we've also established special task teams or troubleshooting teams to strengthen our monitoring and support work in provinces. These include a team to audit provincial reading programs and investigate the strengths and weaknesses in the implementation of these programs. We've also established a maths and science task team, not only to identify ongoing challenges in the teaching of maths and science in our schools, but to also work with our provinces to deal with any other problem immediately. And for us who are proud that the eradication of inequality is an important priority for us, and again, our results will show that we are reducing the inequality between rich and poor schools. On the whole, from both the 2012 annual results and Matric results, we can confidently assure parents and learners that we are moving forward. This is the more reason for celebrating our gains in education while consolidating our advances as promised in the 2012-2013 budget vote of basic education. But we believe that as education, we cannot work alone. There is a process underway under the leadership of Zenex Foundation and JET, respectively, to initiate a partnership in education. This initiative will enhance existing partnerships such as the Quality Learning and Teaching Campaign and the NEDLEC Basic Education Accord, and will help make education a societal issue in the performance of developmental goals we set up in the New Growth Path and in the National Development Plan. And to succeed, we need active participants of all stakeholders and partners, including parents, teacher unions, learner formations, business, NGOs, research institutions, and others. The message to the class of 2012, you must pass this to your colleagues when you go out and collect your results tomorrow. We say to learners who have excelled, the world is your oyster. Go out there and realize your dreams. The country needs you. To those who did not perform as expected, do not lose heart. There are many options for improving results or pursuing alternative paths. Your results notwithstanding, this is not the end of the world. We all learn from trial and error. The ANC government, with its social partners, will continue to prioritize job creation and skill development for accelerated economic growth and opportunities for young people. Our department, working close with the Department of Higher Education, are working hard to ensure that we can promote smooth transition of learners from schooling system to post-schooling education and pre-service teacher education. To the class of 2013, allow me briefly to share a sad experience of a committed learner yearning to get education by all means. His name is Remember Mashabela from Limpopo. At the start of exams, I went to see him at a Pretoria hospital where he was to write his exams. He was receiving specialized treatment for a chronic illness. He first registered in 2012, but he could not finish because of ill health. In 2012, in spite of being gravely ill, he was extremely ill, he wrote and passed English home language at 57%, maths, pure maths at 62%, life sciences at 62%, physical science at 52%, and this translated in him getting his bachelor's pass posthumously. After his exams, at the height of his educational achievements, he was overcome by illness, and it is our wish that his family should draw strength from his courage, and we hope that such death-defying courage will live on in the class of 2013. The bar has been set up. The class of 2013 can only, and that's the only thing we want from them, move higher. You've set the bar for them. 73, and I said to DG, it can't be less than 75.
Yeah. Cum laude.
Yeah, it's cum laude this year. The same message goes to all our learners in grade 1 to 11 who are preparing themselves for life beyond grade 12. I would like to acknowledge the sterling work and support from parents, guardians, and teachers in particular, who really actually carry the most responsibility in the educational chain and in the of our system. So I really want to take this opportunity to most sincerely thank our teachers for going the extra mile all the time. We are very grateful that we're grateful to our teacher unions for their support and partnership, to the business sector that continues to support us both professionally and materially, education non-governmental organizations, especially for their professional inputs and ongoing support in different ways. We thank the international donor community, can't count all of them, EU, USAID, Scandinavian countries, Japan, Asiatic countries, and all of them for their contributions in making our children's education also their business. Our heartfelt gratitude to all the people in general and organizations who supported education in one way or another. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all MECs. I was saying to the President that all provinces did a very good job of consciously getting the best that there is as MECs in education. To the heads of departments in provinces, provincial and district officials for their effort. But I really want to thank my colleague, the Deputy Minister Seti. I think DM, we are just the best person to have been partnered with. I have no words, but I really sometimes thank God for having had you as a partner, because without you, I'm not sure this very difficult task could be any easier. Thank you very much, DM, for who you are and for all the things that you do for us in education. A warm thank to all members of the Education Portfolio Committee. I see all members from both the ruling party and the opposition. Thank you very much for your support and all the time being with us through difficult and easy times. Thank you very much, members of the Portfolio Committee. But also, our most sincere gratitude to the NCOP Education Committee, because they also have been there all the time to support you, to support us. Thank you very much. To Director General, Mr. Bobby Subrain and his team, once again, thank you for a job well done. I really want to thank my family. I normally don't do this. It was a hard year. I want to thank my husband, who's here with me, my children and my mother. Always ask me, are you still safe? Aren't they going to kill you? Why don't you give up and just stay home, my child? You can go and teach. It's not the end of the world. I really want to take this opportunity to thank you for reminding me that I still have a profession. I can still go back to teaching. For being a supporter, a pillar of strength to me. But I really want to thank again the head of the policy head, Dr. Zwelim Kize, who's not, for his support and guidance during this term as policy head. His counsel and hard work contributed greatly towards ensuring that we steadily and safely take this department is Titanic, out of its troubled waters. And so without doubt, I want to assure all South Africans that the education, the future of their children is in good, hard-working and caring hands. We will do everything in our power not to fail them, because we appreciate how important, vital, and precious education is, and therefore continue to commit ourselves to do our utmost best for all our learners in all our schools. And in conclusion, I wish all learners the very best. We call upon all of you to help us improve on this year's results, because working together, we can do more to improve the quality of basic education, bearing in mind at all times that the free development of each is a condition of the free development of all. I thank you.